Hey everyone, welcome back to Man and Beyond with Essie. If you have ever thought about starting your own poultry farm, you are in the right place. In today's video, we are going to break down exactly how much it costs to start a poultry farm. In this video, I'm using a case study of 100 birds kept for meat. Those are broilers. And the profitability depends on final weight for the mature birds and how many birds die before they are sold. Now, before we dive into the numbers, there are few things to consider when raising broilers. We need to think about housing, which is the shelter, equipment, feeds, and of course the cost of the chicks themselves. Let's walk through each one. Number one, cost of chicks. First up, let's talk about the chickens. If you're starting with 100 broilers, you need to buy day-old chicks. The price for day-old broiler chicken can range anywhere from 3,000 to 3,200 shillings. That's around $0.8, depending on your location and the quality of the chicken. But I would advise you to buy from reputable company like Uganda, Beans, Zika, because for them they have good quality chicks which will not disturb you with diseases, and they have a low mortality rate. So for 100 chicks at an average price of 3,000, which is $0.8, that's about 300,000 shillings, which is around $81. Number two, we have housing / shelter. Next up is housing. Broiler chickens need a secure and comfortable space to grow. If you are starting small, you can build a simple house using wire mesh or timber or iron sheets. For 100 broilers, you need around 150 to 200 square feet of space. Not too big and not too small, because if you overspace them and they get to move around a lot, they will not gain weight easily. Number three, we have feeding equipment. All right, now that we have housing covered, let's move to feeding equipment. You need feeders and drinkers for the broilers. Feeders for 100 birds must be bigger and many, at least 5, counting every 20 birds to be using one feeder, and the same with drinkers. Feeders each will cost around 3,000 when you're buying the wooden ones, to around 15,000 a bit modernized ones, and drinkers around 6,000 to 20,000 and above, depending on the size you want to buy. Let's look at maybe in dollars. Feeders will cost around $1.2 to $1.9, and drinkers around 2 to and above, because for drinkers they depends on the size you want. So number 4, let's talk about heating and lighting. In the first few weeks, like 2, your chicks will need extra warmth, especially if you're raising them during cold months. So if you are going to use heat bulbs, you will need wiring and light and then heat bulbs in the house. You're going to use, in case you're not going to use the heat, you can use charcoal to brood your chicks. You need to buy a charcoal, like a sack or half a sack of charcoal, and a brooding pot to put. But make sure you put the pot on something like a saucepan to be a bit up so that they don't fall inside the hot charcoal. And that pot, make sure you put, and that saucepan you put down, make sure you put some soil or ash to avoid it overheating and burn our little ones, because they will be near it to get some warmth. And about the light, it's a must. If you don't have electricity, at least get a lamp to put in. Why? Because broilers eat day and night. That's why they need light at night. Number 5, have feeds costs. And feeding is where a lot of your costs will go. On average, a broiler will eat about 2 to 4 kgs of feeds from day 1 to market size, which is typically around 5 to 8 weeks. It depends on which kind of feeds you're going to use. Some buy already mixed feeds, like from those companies where they buy the chicks from. Others, they mix for themselves. So let me take an example of the method I use. I mix my own feeds because it's cheaper than buying. Buying is a bit expensive when it's already mixed. I just buy a concentrate. A bag of concentrate, 50 kgs, costs around 180 to 190. And you buy maize, you can buy broken maize at around 1,000 or less or above. It depends on the market price. And also, if you have a big land, you can plant yourself maize. That one will be even cheaper. You just harvest, take to the machine, and they make broken for you. It's like 200 per kg. So it depends on what you can. But let's take an example that you're just buying broken and a concentrate. So let's calculate 100 broilers. If they are eating 2 kgs each, that's around 200 kgs. So these 200 kgs of feeds, we need to get the price for each kg of the feeds. So if we said our broken is 1,000, and let's take that we are buying 100 kgs of broken, that's 100,000. And a concentrate of 190,000, and let's say we are going to mix this bag of 50 kgs to 100 kgs of maize. So in total we shall get 150, the 100 kgs of broken and the 50 kgs of concentrate. The total we shall get 150 kgs of feeds. And the total amount, it's, let's take concentrate 190 and take broken 100,000. That's around 290,000. So we get this 290,000, we divide by this 150 kgs to get the price of each kg, and that's 1,933. That's around $0.5. So we come to our feeds. We have 200 kgs which are going to feed our chicks from from 1 day till market size, which is 200 kgs. So 200 kgs times price of each kg, which is 1,933, we shall get around 386,600, which is around $104. It's not much. But if you're going to buy the pellets or already mixed feeds, it's going to be above that. So that is it for feeding. And in case you're rearing above 100, just get these calculations and multiply accordingly. So number 6, you have miscellaneous costs. There are also other small expenses like bedding, this bedding, you can use coffee hussicks. And coffee hussicks, a bag of hussicks can cost around 10,000 to 12,000 shillings, which is around $2.7 to $3.2. And also for this day old chicks, you also need boxes on top of the hussicks. They can't be in hussicks since they are still small. So you will need to buy those boxes, which is it's around 3,000, which is around $1 or $0.9 around there. Any other thing, we shall need vaccines. Every week you have to vaccinate these chicks to avoid the mortality rate to be high for them getting diseases. You need to vaccinate them, and other medications like vitamins, iron to put in the water and feeds. So let's estimate around 50,000 for that's around $13.5. I think that is it. But those costs can vary based on your location and the equipment you already have. And you should not be scared about that it's much. Since you're beginning, you have to incur mostly let me call them fixed assets. You have to incur prices for those, like costs for those. Since you have to build a house, you have to buy the equipment like feeders, drinkers, heaters, like pots. Those things you're buying them once. But the next time you're rearing, you're just going to buy the feeds and the chicks, and also to vaccinate. Maybe some take-home tips. Number 1, buy your birds from reputable company to avoid a high mortality rate, because you may buy from these other companies and those birds will disturb you. They will not grow. They will get diseases. They will disturb you a lot. But if you buy from those big companies, have good quality chicks. And another thing, optimize feeding costs to maximize profits. Stock feeds when prices are low, like maize, what you buy when prices are low, and you buy in big quantities. And you can as well mix your own feeds to avoid extra costs. If you want your birds to be ready by 4 to 5 weeks to avoid extra feed costs, if they take more weeks to weigh more than a kg, you need to feed them well. Make sure the food is of good quality. Don't put little concentrate. Put as much as you can, and make sure that they always have food in their feeders and water in their drinkers. Number 2, make sure you vaccinate them on a weekly basis to avoid diseases like cough, which may hinder their growth. Another thing, always put on clean shoes and gumboots when entering the chicken house to avoid bringing in viruses. Another thing, find a market even before you start the farm, since they have few weeks to mature. Because if you start searching for the market when they are ready, it will be hard and the more days they stay, the more they will eat your profits. So it's better to start looking for a market earlier. And lastly, do not be worried about the cost, because of course you're seeing little to no profit. Since you're just starting, you're spending a lot on one-time costs, like as I told you, housing, wiring, feeders, drinkers, etc., whereby in the next lot you will not be spending on them. And there you have it. Starting a poultry farm for 100 broilers can be done for under what? How many dollars did we count? For under $110. If you find this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more farming and business ideas and tips. Let me know in the comments section if you are planning to start your own poultry farm, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.